All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today, we are thrilled to introduce a very special guest on Together Marketing Rescue, the heart and soul behind the mouth-watering success of Sweets and Meats Barbecue, a gem in the hospitality industry, and that has been serving up delectable delights for over a decade. This family-owned and operated business is not only prides itself on its quality, scratch-made barbecue, but also stands out for its strong community involvement and status as a woman-owned enterprise. Despite achieving an impressive annual revenue of $1.67 million and employing a dedicated team of 19, Sweets and Meats Barbecue is currently facing challenges that many businesses in the hospitality sector can relate to, driving traffic to their brand new restaurant location in Avondale, just north of Cincinnati, while also promoting their catering business, all occasions, and their amazing food truck service, which offers custom catering options beyond their signature barbecue.
Over the past couple of years, the team at Sweets and Meats Barbecue has been wrestling with the seasonal slowness between December and March, which leads to reduced hours for their staff and operating in the red. In an effort to combat this challenge, they've tried several different marketing tactics, including social media, email marketing, word-of-mouth promotions, flyers, news features, and influencer partnerships. With a modest marketing budget, our guests today are in need of innovative solutions to sustain and grow their business. They not only open to, but excited for significant changes in their current marketing strategy, with the readiness to implement expert advice and share their follow-up results with our amazing Together digital community.
Boom. And as we prepare to serve up a feast of marketing wisdom, a little AI for you, let's remember that Sweets and Meats is more than just a business. It's a story of passion, resilience, and community spirit, looking to ignite its full potential. With upcoming initiatives like a Google commercial airing soon and goals to grow the business by 20% while streamlining operations, our guest today is standing at a pivotal moment, ready to embrace the advice and support from our Together digital community. So let's rally together to help Sweets and Meats Barbecue not just survive, but thrive, ensuring that this local favorite can continue to bring joy and delicious barbecue to tables for many years to come. So on that note, let's go ahead and welcome Kristen Bailey to the show. Kristen!
Hey, Kristen!
Hey,
how you doing today?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be surrounded by so many incredible women right now. I just appreciate this opportunity to be featured on Together Digital, so thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to have you on. You know, you're a big influence in your community. You're doing a lot of great work. So we've got some questions teed up. Our goal is to ask you a lot of questions about what it is that you're struggling with so that the members of the community can accurately give you solutions to those problems. So, Amy, you want to jump in with some questions?
Yes. So, Kristen, you guys have evolved your business. And I mean, I have the privilege and honor of knowing you and considering you a friend. So I have gotten to hear your and Anton's story. You started with a barbecue grill and $800, right, in your backyard. And you've come to this point. I would love for you to just kind of give us a quick snapshot of some of the things that you have tried as you've grown and evolved your business, because clearly there are some things you're doing right, because you have catering trucks, you have the restaurant, plus the catering itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you for asking. So yeah, we started really small, very humble roots. Literally, when we first started, our grassroots marketing efforts were essentially passing out flyers with Halloween candy. Like, that was how we got our start. We were putting flyers attached to candy in bags, and that weekend we were set up in the parking lot at the Creamy Whip. So very, very small start, no outside investment, no loans when we first started. And we have grown the business to, doing over $1 million. We had 24 employees. Just until recently, we've had to do some changes strategically with staff, and we've also started participating in the Ohio Job Shares program, which is a program that helps you retain your employees versus doing like a mass layoff, because it has been it's been a struggle. This past year has been a struggle for us. Some of the things that we've tried over the years, we did have a carry-out restaurant. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but we had a carry-out that we opened in 2017, and we did operate for 5 strong years. We closed it in December of 2022. And that move was strategic. If I'm being completely transparent, I feel like I can be honest with all the women on the call, that we just weren't making the money. I advise a lot of small businesses myself as a mentor, and I started trying to take my own advice. We're really good about giving advice to people, but we don't always receive it ourselves. And so if I was to tell somebody in my shoes at that time, what would I do? I would say, stop the bleeding. And we were like losing so much money in the carryout post-pandemic because people just weren't coming out, or they were so happy to finally be able to get out and dine at the restaurant that they wanted to dine in, and we didn't have that. We didn't have a dining room. So our traffic dwindled, and a lot of the other dine-in restaurants were, increasing sales. And we looked at what was working for our business, and it was really the catering. So we started, focusing more on what was working, and we repurposed the space that we had. Our kitchen's only 1,344 square feet, and that includes like the lobby, that includes storage, that includes the bathroom, that includes where the smoker is, which is massive. So it's not a lot of space when you look at how much volume we're putting out for catering, and then 3 mobile food trucks, because we do all the cooking in that space. So we closed the carryout strategically, and then we continued to focus on growing all occasions. And All Occasions Catering really is a division within Sweets and Meats Barbecue. And it was born out of the pandemic at a time where we continued to operate. We continued to go out in the neighborhoods with our food trucks. We continued to cater. We continued to rescue a lot of situations where caterers had closed their doors or weren't operating temporarily, so that when brides were having a wedding, they could call on us and we'd bring the truck out. And we were able to do it safely and serve. But we found that we started getting a lot of custom requests for things that we had never done, like a pulled pork New Brunswick stew or mock chew. Like we had a client, she was turning 70, she was from New Orleans. She wanted something Creole, and she gave us the recipes, we perfected it, and that's what we served. And we started doing so much of that, we're like, wait a minute, why don't we do this all the time? Then we started asking ourselves, probably 2 years later now, why aren't we advertising this? Why don't we advertise that we do this? Because nobody knows. Everybody knows that we do barbecue. Everybody knows we have a food truck. But do people know that we also have a restaurant? Do people also know that we cater? They get confused. They're like, are they a caterer? Are they a food truck? Are they a restaurant? What are they? Are they open? Their restaurant's closed. I drive by every day. Are they ever open? What happened? Are they struggling? So we have not done a great job. We've done so many things that our messaging is not clear. We don't have a marketing plan. We don't have a marketing strategy. I'll be honest. I have been a one-woman show when it comes to the operation side for many, many years. I wear so many hats. For the first 8 years, I was the only person on the office side. I did all the booking, all the payroll, all the marketing, all the hiring and firing, all the development, everything for the business outside of cooking. My other half, Anton, handles like all of the cooking. He develops all those staff members. He goes to the events. And I was also going to the events too for those first 8 years. So I have staff in the office now. But up until maybe 6 weeks ago, I was also handling all the social media myself too. And it's just a lot. So everything gets a little of me, but not the full attention. And where I find myself now is that I haven't, Bridget talked about the seasonality of our business. We can't afford to be seasonal. Yes, we're in Ohio, but it's 10 years in now. We can't be slow every December through March. We have literally no revenue coming in. And then I borrow money that entire time. So I start out in the red. We hit our busy season. We're trying to catch up and hire all these people. And then I do this. I save money all year long to basically expend it in the winter. And that's not really a sustainable business model. And it creates so much stress for me personally. Like Amy knows my story. Like I was in the hospital in December. I have an inflammatory disease, recent diagnosis. Stress does not help that at all. So like I have to get this under wraps. And I also realize that if anybody's out there listening, I need help. I am not a marketing guru. I do okay. I've done enough to get by for the first 10 years, but I'm actually hindering my business by not stepping aside and letting somebody help me. So I don't know. That was a long-winded answer.
No, that was fantastic.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you giving us the insight and where you were and how you've gotten to this point. And it resonates with all of us as small business owners. We're like, yep, we do. We wear all the hats. It's a lot of work.
It is.
But you did mention that you used to handle the social media, and then you said a few weeks ago you handed that off. So do you have someone in place to do social?
So I hired my stepdaughter who wants to go into marketing, who does not have a marketing background. She is learning, but I'm still spending time because I'm having to train. It's not like perfect. She's doing a really great job. It's consistent now. It's not like, if I'm being honest, and I probably will ask you to retract this later, like literally I was like dumping on social media. It was not timed. It was not like planned. It was like when I was in the bathroom and I had 2 minutes and I would dump something out and then I was done. And then I did it for the day, right? Like I was trying to post on Instagram and Facebook, obviously not doing my best work, right? It's not ideal. I wasn't in Canva creating like a strategy. I was literally posting a picture of like food or an event, or like
post and pray.
Where we were going to be.
That's
probably better than going into detail like I did tonight.
We don't mind. We're all friends.
But
here.
I'm just, I feel like transparency. Right? Somebody can relate. Like I am so at capacity that I have no time. That literally when I'm in the bathroom, I'm still working. That's terrible.
That's pretty bad. Yeah. We gotta fix that.
So she has helped. Like I have given her, these are the 10 things that this month we really need to focus. And I've talked to her about the importance of making sure we're posting daily on these different vehicles. I've talked to her about the importance of not doing the exact same post 24 times in a row. You know, but I'm still responding to all the social media comments, and we're not going to have the engagement like if nobody's responding. It's not perfect, right? She's 21 years old. I love Dominique, but like she needs some guidance too. And I think if I could find somebody that could work with her internally where she can get content, she can work on things, but have somebody manage the strategy. That's what my small business needs.
Those are two different skill sets. I had this conversation with some other business owners last night I was having dinner with. And it's like sometimes we think social media is a one big basket, and it's not. Strategy is very different from content creation, which is actually also very different from community management, because your community management, especially for a business like yours, could end up working as like a secondary arm of customer service. So not saying you have to have 3 people for that, but just kind of know and recognize that you're already there, right? That there's a difference between just executing social versus coming up with a bigger, broader strategy. I would say also, don't tell her she has to post every day. It is okay. You can do 2 to 3 times a week on most major platforms and you'll be all right. Daily might be a little too much even.
Yeah, and I kind of want to jump in. First of all, I want to say, like, you know, kudos to you for knowing when to call it, right? Because I think the number one mistake that small business and entrepreneurs make is not knowing when to hold them and when to fold them. And so as painful as it was in 22 to say, this ain't working anymore, I mean, that shows a lot about your like business maturity, right? To be able to say it's not working, I'm going to do something different, because most people hang on to the end and they're like, what do you mean my pretzel truck isn't working? Because people don't like pretzels, dude. You know what I mean? Like you gotta, it's time to end this. So kudos to you, because I know that wasn't easy. And I would definitely say, you know, with your health issues, and thank you for sharing that, I think it's like of the utmost importance to solve this problem for you immediately. My question is, and we were chatting about this yesterday, I am curious about the fall off, because I like barbecue all year round. That doesn't feel like a summer thing to me. And so I'm wondering, you know, can you combine these businesses in a sense? Like, why is there an all occasions catering? Why isn't it just sweets and meats catering? Like, I think some of the confusion might be like, there's so many entities here, and who is what and what is who, and then who is open when, and all of that. And I think getting more clear on that so that your customers know, like you said, they drive by, is it closed? So basic tactical things like putting a sign up on your old location that says, we have not closed, the business is booming, we're over here, come get your barbecue, you know. Kind of solving some of those immediate problems, just like some basic stuff. But I would imagine that being so seasonal, it would be really hard to have a budget for this marketing in the slow time. So, you know, what percentage of your revenue have you dedicated to marketing, or is it just what percentage of your bandwidth?
Yeah.
If I'm being transparent, I haven't paid myself since September. So like, it's non-existent, and it's because, I mean, it's not just the marketing, right? Like I'm also working with my business coach on getting a better handle on the numbers. Like I've started using Live Plan to manage what's in QuickBooks to see where, because the money comes in and it goes right back out. A big portion of it's labor. Next to that's going to be our food cost. And then just like yourselves, everything has gone up. Like the cost of goods has gone up. My gas and electric went up 40%. Commercial insurance went up 40%. My labor sometimes is as much as 50% of our overall sales, because it takes a really long time to do barbecue, authentic, good barbecue. And, everything we make is from scratch. And so we've been trying to figure out a lot of things. One is getting the finances in order so that we can e-mark. Like, I should be paying myself probably first.
Yes.
And I should have money set aside for marketing, but I can barely make payroll. So it's like hard to, but I'm trying to figure that out. So I don't have all the answers. I don't know what something like that even costs because I've never really explored it. I know when I was hiring, I did meet with some people last year because this is not a new issue. This has been an issue since day one. December through March is always slow. And people have given me their rates and then I've gotten sticker shock and I was like, oh crap, I'll just continue to do this myself, which is what I do with everything. I'll just continue to do it myself. So to answer your question, I also thought barbecue would be a hit. I thought we'd be busier in the winter because nobody wants to do it themselves.
No.
But it is such a seasonal, like people just don't think about it in Ohio. It's not like that in Kansas. It's not like that in Texas. It's not like that in the South. It's an Ohio thing. People in Ohio don't enjoy their barbecue for whatever reason. There's people like that. I'm not one of them. But they don't come looking for us chomping at the bit in those slower months. And so what we tried to do with all occasions is by getting away from this niche of only being barbecue. So we're trying to do something like we're available for all occasions. We're available 24/7, 365. But letting people know that it's like a sister company because people got confused. Even when we said Sweets and Meats, we did try that temporarily. I didn't mention that when you asked. But we worked with GoDaddy, who is one of our strategic partners. We've done some commercial work with them. They host our website. They actually did a rebrand with us last year on our website. And in our logo, we were dropping the barbecue. We said, we'll just do Sweets and Meats. But everybody just remembers the barbecue, especially the pig with the pitchfork, like our logo. We even dropped that out of the logo and just did Sweets and Meats, like just the wording. And they all know us as barbecues. We've done a really good job over 10 years marketing Sweets and Meats barbecue.
Yeah.
People have seen us all over the news. Like if you Google us, like I'm a very humble person, but like literally you Google us, there's at least 5 pages of content.
For barbecue, for barbecue, I would say, because we dug
barbecue,
in on that a little bit. Catering, it was harder to find you. And then there's, So I wonder, like, I mean, I definitely had noted that, consistent across the board branding, I think is important because you guys are one entity. And two, you have to think about your customer journey. When somebody comes to your restaurant and then learns you also offer catering, I can have this at home. I understand the desire to want to expand on your product and services because you think that there might be more money in it, but you're, like you said it, the food costs are going up. People know and love you for barbecue. So are there some ways that you could leverage even just some small little marketing campaigns? And I mean, you can run an ad on Google for $10 a day. You can run an ad on
crap out. To be honest,
that's
why I
what
need
we
you
help
guys.
with. That's what we help with.
I'm so confused by the Google marketing.
I am thinking you could do something like We Are the Taste of Summer. I mean, it is abysmal outside right now. I would love to walk inside somewhere and feel it like it's summer. So bring summer to them. You've got the Super Bowl coming up. We talked about your commercial. We'll get to that more in a minute. But like football, I mean, I don't know. What would it look like for you to really scale down some of your food costs by, not trying to be so custom and really just own the barbecue? Because you're already saying it. You're saying everybody knows us for barbecue. And so it's like all year round. Own that and emphasize it. Like almost make yourselves fanatics to say, we are the people that will eat barbecue all year round. Are you that person too? Because that will differentiate you. And then you're going to attract the kind of customers who are like, hell yes.
Hell yeah.
I want some meat right now. And I want some barbecue. And then I want some of that delicious crunch cake that y'all got. Because holy hell, that stuff is amazing.
I don't disagree. Like it is the biggest thorn in my side. And I get so frustrated because do people hibernate here? Like, I don't get it. Like, people are still eating. So why aren't they eating
Oh, they sure are. And barbecue is a good comfort food.
Yes.
I think it's a matter of the ways in which where you're meeting them is always important, right? Where you're meeting them and then how you're bringing them in. And so sometimes I think we said this before, even to Crystal at our last episode, is like, if you try to speak to everyone, you end up speaking to no one. So again, really think about like, if you're trying to define your brand, like values and your brand voice, to me, it's like, barbecue 24/7. And even your catering now is Sweets and Meats barbecue for all occasions. So now it's like building off of your restaurant brand into the catering brand. And then also great, I see your trucks everywhere. That's also great marketing.
Everywhere. People tell us all the time, they're like, I see you everywhere. I'm like, thank you.
It's always exciting when we see you. My
but
kids even know now.
All
They're
my
like,
trucks
look.
are sitting. They're sitting in a parking lot. They need some love. We went to Dayton Convention Center today because we have nothing here in Cincinnati. So like I literally
We got to
have a team
fix that.
going
We
up
need a
to
barbecue
Dayton.
revolution.
We do.
Yeah.
And
We'll let the other two talk. I have more ideas, but I want to let the other two jump in.
No, I was just going to say, like, you have the art assets that support it. You have that barbecue love. Like, I went to your website and my mouth was watering because I'm a huge barbecue person, and I'm a huge barbecue person all year round. But I think what the problem is that people aren't thinking of you. And are you doing a good job? I'll rephrase that. Are you speaking to all of your different opportunities at every touch point? So in the restaurant, are you talking about catering in your food truck? On your food truck, are you talking about your catering in your restaurant? And your catering, are you talking about your restaurant and your food truck? Is there a way we could really make that a cohesive message so that whenever you're talking to the customer, you're pointing them in all of the different capabilities that you're offering?
So you want me to answer that? So
Yes, please.
When
That
I
was a
was
question.
everywhere. Yes, the answer was yes. But now I have empowered my staff
Good.
to do the things that they need to do, and it is not happening consistently. Like we've even created marketing packages, like that we would put in a folder to go out on catering jobs if there was a delivery. And almost always they were coming back. So the staff was not delivering them the way they're supposed to. They're supposed to spread them out on the table so that when people are eating the food, they're not saying, "Oh, we're eating something that wasn't sweets and meats," because there was nothing on the table that said sweets and meats. So they had no idea. They just thought it was from their favorite barbecue place. And so we made table tents, we leave business cards, we have some flyers to leave with the host, menus, but like it was all coming back. And so it's like I've started, if I can be honest with you guys, like it was me and Anton doing everything for 9 years, and then we've hired managers. Like we hired our first GM in August of 23.
Yeah.
So now we have a team that we're building, but like we've not been consistent with production meetings. Communication has probably been our biggest flaw internally, not with our external customers, but internally.
Yeah.
So like things aren't happening. It happens when Anton and I are there, but then it kind of like loses its effect when the further it gets out.
Following out.
And so like our hourly staff, if somebody asks them about catering, they'll talk about it, but are they saying to every customer, like I would at a food truck rally, "Hey, did you know that we cater? Here's a card. Hey, go on Instagram, post some photos, like follow us on Facebook." They're not doing that. It's very transactional.
So one thing that I've been thinking about this whole time, in regards to like the low budget during slow seasons and lack of accountability. Well, number one, I would say this is not an option. You have to do it. And so either your pay gets docked or you get a bonus if you do it. Yeah. The other thing I'm thinking about is like incentivize, like even your marketing team. Like maybe you could pay people on a commission right now and say, listen, for every, thing you bring in, you can take 5% of it or something like that to ease the gap. But I think accountability is really important. If you tell your staff to do it and they don't do it, then you need to tell them that if they don't do it again, they're getting fired. Like if they're just like kids and dogs. Okay, you know what I mean? And I love kids and dogs, so don't get me wrong. But like if you tell them to do something and they don't do it and nothing happens, they're never going to do it. Yeah. They're just going to not continue to do it, right? And so training people on, I used to have company meetings I had 19 employees, and the first thing we would do, it would take 20 minutes, it was annoying as hell, is everybody in the room had to say the elevator pitch. And I would get 20 different versions. And I was like, we don't do any of that. And so every meeting we would say the elevator pitch. So at least they could say, yes, we are a catering company, a full-service thing, and we run all year round, and we love working with small businesses, mothers, and brides, whatever. Like, that is your elevator pitch, and make sure that every single person knows it, and ask them at the beginning of every shift and at the end of every shift. Maybe put their names on cards, and if somebody calls and asks for catering, and it says, well, whose name is on the card? Oh, it's Molly. Okay, well, Molly gets a little bonus this month. Incentivize people, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to care about your business except for you and Anton. That's just the reality of it. No matter how great your employee is, they're not staying up at night worrying about the bottom line, right? Because it's not their job to,
So we did that too, Molly. We had referral card. We have them now, where if they're on the truck and they refer it out, they write their name on the back of it. If the client mentions it, they get a $50 gift card to their place of choice. Have I gotten any back?
Oh,
like they all love this idea, suggested it, we did it, and nothing.
Or
now,
they just
So then maybe the next wave is take the work off the employees' hands and put QR codes all over everything and those table tents, and let that do the talking. And maybe when you scan the QR code, it's a video of you saying, hey, welcome to Sweet Treats. This is what we do. Thank you so much for being interested in our food. Here's 8 buttons below of how you can work with it. Just get really creative and find a way, because your best customers are going to come from the people that are already eating your food.
Yep.
And I would also say, like, really targeted marketing campaigns. Like, hey, forget cooking a turkey. Come get one from us this year. Or Christmas stressing you out. Don't feel like going to the grocery store? No problem. We can deliver a full meal. You can pretend it's the 4th of July on 25th of December. You know, really planting the seed, using your trucks, putting marketing all over. We cater year-round. The year-round barbecue. The barbecue hammer that into people's faces so that they know, because maybe they just think that you're seasonal.
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
And your new social media manager could help you with that. She probably knows how to do a QR code in her sleep. She probably knows how to video herself and make that message.
Yeah.
And she could do it in an hour where it would take you or I hours to figure it out and, you know, make it come across the way you want it. You could help her write the script. She should know the language that you want to use, but I would empower your team to, you know, take advantage of that, because it sounds like you already have all the tools in place. I mean, the table tents is a great idea. The fact that you already have marketing materials and you're presenting it when you're delivering the catering, you're off on the right, you have the right tangible elements.
Yeah.
I think capitalizing on it it's hard if it's not you know, really empowering your team.
And I think that more consistent branding of like Sweets and Meats barbecue across the board. And I would really love to like work with you on like that tone of voice, with my background being like copywriting and creative direction, of like, own barbecue. You are barbecue obsessed, barbecue all day, all the time, and you're really trying to attract those people. Like, you could open up and have like barbecue competitions where you invite these kinds of events and opportunities for people who are barbecue obsessed to come in. So it's like, if you just think about everything through that lens of barbecue obsessed, I think that could actually carry you and differentiate you within the market, because there are a couple other barbecue places in Cincinnati, but I feel like they have kind of lulled. You're right. They've gotten kind of quiet. And it's like, can we not bring this back? Because I think there's some opportunity for you guys to kind of own and differentiate through that. And then I agree with both Molly and Bridget. QR codes are great. You can create just a sticker to stick onto the truck. I was thinking too, I don't know if you guys have carry-in bags for your catering deliveries, but even if it's just like one of those little reusable kind of, they're not super expensive, but like totes that you can just drop off and leave. You know, like Panera does when you do a Panera delivery order. I have like so many of those bags, and they're so big, I don't even know what to do with them though, but they're there and they're branded, so it kind of sticks. So if you're kind of talking about your business under one umbrella versus these separate entities, I think it'll start to help people connect the dots. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, email. I'm curious, you know, if I sign up and get you to cater, are you going to email me afterwards and say, hey, here's a coupon to come visit our restaurant? Or did you know that we also have food trucks you can rent? Get their birthday so that then you can make an offer for them for like maybe their birthday to come in and get something like a free piece of cake, you know, the crunch cake when they come in for their birthday. There's a lot you could kind of do to kind of continue the consumer journey. Again, when you think about your brand under one umbrella and people coming in through one of those entry points, right? The truck, the catering, or the restaurant, how do I look at that journey and capture as much of the information from them as I can? So like, even in your POS, having an option to have them sign up and say, hey, we do catering and a food truck to rent. Sign up for our emails to know where we are and how you can, you know, come and hang out with us again or hire us for this. Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying, like, think about those consumer journey moments where you can start to build that in and kind of push people through all of the products and services you have.
I was just going to add, Kristen, this is a lot. I know that you're taking in a lot. You're like drinking from a fire hose as we talk, and we're like, should you try this and do that? And by the way, I have like 6 other ideas I want to talk to you about. But the one thing I wanted to just emphasize with Amy is, some of those elements with email marketing is a set it and forget it. Those are totally automated, right? Those can be taken care of. Again, back to your social media manager, your brand new employee. I mean, eventually you could get to a point where once you create it and it's automated, those things happen in the back end without you. You don't have to wake up in the morning and worry about sending out an email message,
so
right?
We've done some email blasts.
Good.
We have a different list for like our CRM, like catering clients that are in, we use a system called Triple Seat, but also we have through GoDaddy, through our website, we also have a list of like 5,000 names on that. And we have about 3,000 in our client list. We have not done a consistent job with it though. It's usually like, oh crap, there's this, we need to send an email out. We also do a newsletter. It's supposed to be quarterly. It probably happens twice a year. Yeah. We do have QR codes on all the trucks, but it's really asking them to follow us on social media and for reviews, not promoting the catering. So that is a great takeaway.
Okay.
And I've looked into branding boxes similar to what I won't mention another barbecue place that has it, but Condados. Have you seen Condados does a really good job with their taco branding? Like they have a box and all the trays, like especially for little office parties.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you think about your favorite healthcare place, like a medical office, a catering for like 20 people. It's all in one box. It's got their logo.
Yeah.
I want to do that, but I have not found a company that I can source those from.
Yeah.
So I am trying to do that. And I also started ordering all of our disposable servingware now have our logo embossed in gold.
Fantastic.
So I did make sure that something on the buffet
kind
has
of gets
our
left
logo.
behind.
Yeah, but I love the bag idea. I think that instead of putting them in plastic Ziploc bags, which we had started to do for the host.
Because I'll reuse that tote bag. I'll
Put
carry
it in a
probably through
reusable
the
tote
grocery
bag
store.
that we give the host and then they feel special and put like a nice pen in there. Like there's,
Yeah. Just little
Those are
things
great
like
ideas.
that make a big difference.
Absolutely.
And I would almost, again, like that Sweets and Meats barbecue, like catering, restaurant, and food trucks, like right underneath, always, everywhere.
Your year-round barbecue hookup, you know? Like, I was just Googling, because, like, the biggest barbecue place, I'm from D.C., and so Red Hot and Blue, right, is, like, the first name that came to mind. There's a bunch of other ones, but that was the first one that came to mind. And they originated in Arlington, Virginia. Who knew? Anyhow, I typed in, is Red Hot and Blue seasonal? And the very first thing that comes up, it says, celebrate the holidays with authentic Southern barbecue. And it's from December 2024. And it's like the very first thing that comes up on Google. And so, like, they're doing a great job of getting ahead and saying, hey, like, don't cook this season, you know? And I think that's where that email list is bananas, my friend. Okay,
That
Kristen,
is
5,000
good. That's a
people.
good
You need to be
advantage.
hammering
Well
those people
done.
until they leave. You know, sending out constant communication with them. You know, Christmas is in 2 months. What's your plan?
Yeah.
Right.
The big
I didn't even
like,
know I
yeah,
had
you
an email list.
5,000 people on an
website.
email list.
Yeah.
First
Oh
of
my
all, you get
gosh.
an award for that.
You should bring them all together too. You should actually bring them under one CRM and then segment your lists, but still have email blasts that kind of go to everybody. Because even what you're getting at, Molly, it reminded me of another idea I had too. Of like you could do some fun marketing where it's like Chick-fil-A did this really well, right? With the cows eat more chicken. It's like.
I hate
Chuck the
that.
turkey.
Eat
Nobody wants
barbecue.
turkey. Make
Yeah.
barbecue.
Yeah, and if nobody else will feed you, I will. Like, I don't know what the other barbecue people are doing in the winter, but we're still open.
Yeah, exactly. While the rest are sleeping, we're still barbecuing. This is what I mean. Like once you
And I'm
kind of
the
get
only
that
woman,
point of
like,
view.
That's doing that. Like, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like, we're woman owned. All these other establishments are
talking about
not.
that.
And like,
Absolutely.
that's empowering. And I feel like I need to. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of opportunity.
Barbecue
but I
queen
need-
right here.
If you're
Barbecue queen of the
listening,
Queen City.
I'm looking for a partner. So somebody to help me get my marketing crap together. Like,
I
don't
think
mean to say that,
Amy has really nailed it. Like, I think you just need to barbecue revolution, barbecue
Yes.
for breakfast, barbecue
I
for
love
lunch,
that.
barbecue
Oh, yeah.
for dinner, barbecue
Let's
for
start
Christmas,
a barbecue revolution.
like just hammer it into people's minds. So that it's like, forget the turkey, let's go with barbecue. Like that, I hate those because I'm like, I don't want animals telling me to eat other animals.
I
Like,
know,
I'm very
right? It is
conflicted
pretty gross.
about
I'm a
all of
vegetarian,
that.
by the way, so I'm still behind all this, but I feel
I'm
that.
not. I'm with you, Kristen. Give me the brisket. I want a barbecue.
I'm like personifying an animal to
Yeah,
encourage
it is
eating
bizarro.
another animal is super weird, but it worked. It worked. But I think, like and your QR code on your trucks, by the way, you can just change it to go to something else. You don't have to change the QR code. You can just change the metrics on the back end, so that's an easy one. And forget social. So sending people to social is an absolute waste of time. If they want to follow you, they're gonna. You don't need to tell them to do that. You need to tell them to order your freaking food, and then they'll find you on. So you know what I mean? Like the social metric, it's like podcasts when people say subscribe on iTunes. Why? You know what I mean? I don't care if you subscribe on iTunes. Come to my website so I can get your email address. And then giving people runway. Like, if you got to think about if somebody has a family and they're thinking about Christmas, they need to get that email about Christmas in October, boo-boo. In October. So they can go back to the family and go, I got this email from Sweets and Meats. Sweet Meats, why don't we just do that this year? Then they got to talk to other family members. Then they got to see it again to be reminded about it. You can't, like, a week before Christmas say, hey, just let us make your Christmas dinner, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's like longevity and hammering people. And when people unsubscribe from your email list, it's the greatest gift you could ever be given because they don't want your information. And the people that do want it will read it. So that unsubscribe is not a bad metric. Like in my lowest moments, I have looked at my unsubscribes and gotten my feelings. I don't do that anymore, because I'm like, what? I know her. What the hell, man? She just unsubscribed. I don't look at those anymore because they're not the people that want my content. And
Right.
I'm super glad to have a list of targeted people that actually want my content. So I think, if your biggest problem, if you're doing 1.64 million, okay, first of all, hats off to you, my friend. Okay, that's freaking amazing. You should be super proud of that. I think it's like 4% of women-owned businesses make it over 1 million.
Make a million.
So,
and doing that backloaded.
Ring the bell.
Like, you're backloaded in the year, right? So you're not making that money until you're almost halfway through the year. So if we get you up and cooking all year round,
you could be at $3 million a year.
That's
right. $3 to $5 million a year, which is phenomenal. Like, I hope you really fully appreciate what percentage of small businesses in America don't get over 100,000. It's appalling. Okay. And then how many women-owned businesses get over 100,000 or get over 1 million? It's an insanely small sliver of that fraction, and you have nailed it. So you should definitely be super proud of that, and then keep that whole energy of this 4 months a year when you rake in 1.6 mil. Keep that energy going all year long, because I've never heard of barbecue being seasonal. And sometimes we associate feelings and this is what it is, and maybe it doesn't. That if you keep reinforcing that it's seasonal, it's going to maintain seasonal. You got to be barbecue is not seasonal. Barbecue is year round. Barbecue loves you all year. Lean in on these memes, right? That go around, right? Like all these funny memes that go around, make them for you and make them all about how barbecue is year round. Barbecue for breakfast, barbecue for just
birthday
hammer
cakes.
That down people's throats. Because that's how it all works, right? I a couple years ago, I hired a catering company that I was working with for one of my clients, and I was like, you know what? My mom is sick. I'm just going to order Thanksgiving dinner through her, right? But I would have never done that before had I not known about it. And sometimes, it's in the tipping point. Something small can make a difference. I used to manage social media for restaurants years ago, right, when I was a sucker for punishment. And they had private rooms that they could do events in, and they never got any business. And all I did was just make posts that say, did you know you could have your baby shower here? Did you know you could have your bachelorette party here? Did you know? And they booked the rooms, and it was booked 100%. And they were like, you're a genius. I'm like, all I did was tell people that they could use that room, because they don't know. If you're not in hospitality, right? I'm in hospitality. I've slung a lot of drinks, a lot of food, and dealt with a lot of people in my life. That's why I'm so jaded, right? But if you're not in hospitality, you don't know that you can rent that back room. You don't know that you can do those things. That is not intuitive. You don't know that you can get catering. You don't know that they can come to your house and do the same thing. People just don't know that, right? If they've never been in hospitality. So you have to kind of remove that lens of what you know and just make it painfully obvious for everybody and just put it out there. Did you know that you could have this for Christmas dinner? Did you know? Be the hero and think about who's going to hire you in these businesses. It's always the receptionist, right? Every company I've ever worked in, who orders the food? The receptionist. Who has the menus? The receptionist, right? That's who's primary. So incentivize the receptionist. Be the best receptionist in Ohio this year and get the best food. Really talk to the people that you want to talk to. And I think just disassociating this seasonal label is really the first step, because barbecue, if you were selling ice cream cones, I'd be like, okay, maybe in January, but I want some hot sweet meat in February. It sounded very bad, but I'm just saying, give me some hot meat and some beans and some bread right now. I'm down for that. I don't need it to be summer. So I think leaning in on that, if you have this great younger person, then I think the angle is to get somebody who's really seasoned and experienced, who can give directives to the younger person and just tell her what to do. And then she can learn, she can make money, and maybe you offer some sort of an incentive, commission-based rate until you can get over the seasonal hump. And then you could put them into a year-long thing when you're not having that seasonal drop, Because as a marketer, there has to be some incentive, right? No matter how much I love your food and want to help you, I still need to get paid. And you can't pay me in beans.
Kristen, I know I love Molly's advice. I think she's right on in terms of getting someone senior to really advise, so you can sort of step away from that and do what you do best. I am curious, though, do you have companies that you work with regularly that are your ideal customer for catering?
Yeah.
And give me an example, walk me through your dream customer.
So, I mean, you want me to tell you, what clients we have, or just, that, the target
You can do a little bit of both.
Yeah,
typically, just a broad picture.
Honestly, a lot of our business, it is corporate catering. So it's typically either the business owner, if it's a company of, say, 20 to 60 employees. Usually the owner is handling it. Anything beyond that, they usually have an HR manager that is booking it. If it's like an employee appreciation event, if it's a retirement, if it's the owner's birthday, we've done things like that. Or if it's just routine safety meetings, like a lot of manufacturers or people that work in logistics, they do a lot of safety things where they have so many days. They'll do it pretty consistently. Every 30 to 90 days, they'll do a lunch for each shift. Beyond that, brides, we do a lot of weddings every year. So I did one bridal show this year. I'm not really fond of bridal shows, to be honest.
Well, they're one and done, right?
They're one and done.
Well, one and done unless it's 50-50 and they're divorced and getting remarried again. But that's not really a good target demographic.
Hey,
I'm
it's multiple return client. Come on, Bridget.
The one thing about weddings,
your wedding and your divorce party.
The one thing I will say about weddings, though, is it is the best way to advertise because there are so many bad caterers that cater weddings. We're not one of them, and so people are just in awe when they have our food at a wedding. They're like, "Oh my God, this is so good! It's the best food I've ever had at a wedding." And we're literally marketing to 100 people that have that food. So
brilliant.
We book so many other events from our weddings that it's not just about that. It's like particular event. Smart. I've even had families that have booked out of that, and we catered one family 3 times in the same week.
Love it.
We did a wedding, a graduation party.
That's fantastic.
And I think we had a rehearsal dinner for a different cousin. So those are great. And then I would say also we do a lot of grad parties. So moms, that are typically the mother is the one booking, sometimes dad for a graduation party. We do a lot of festivals. We have scaled back from a lot of vending, meaning individuals paying for themselves, just because we do have to cook everything up front. We have such a long cook process, but these events cost a lot of money to get into, and then we're there for 16 hours, so we're staffing for 16 hours. It's crazy. We could potentially have a lot of food waste if people don't come out. There's a lot of uncontrollables like the weather. If it's raining,
electricity,
people
don't come. If it's
am
too
I right,
hot,
friend?
The electricity, the generators,
Taste of
fuel,
Cincinnati.
all of it. So,
it's a lot.
So, and vending last year, because I don't know if it was the election year, I don't know if it's just inflation, I don't know what, a combination, our sales were 30% of what they have been in years past.
Wow.
So we really don't want vending.
You want that
we want catering business. We want guaranteed, I have 50 people, come feed us. That's what I'm looking for.
I think that's smart. Are you all working and talking to like photographers, like wedding photographers, wedding venues? Are you partnering with anybody there to kind of have them like work with you all to help refer people?
It is on my list. Again, when I go, I always get cards for the photographer. I always get the florist card. I always talk to the wedding planner. My staff is not consistently doing it. I'm not saying they never do it, but they're not consistently doing it. And part of that is on me, the training, right? Like I will take some ownership of that.
Molly Moxie.
But also the accountability. Molly had hit that nail on the head. If you're not going to do it, then I'm going to hire somebody that will. Like, if you don't, like, you can go do this here. Like, this is not transactional. Like, you guys can't complain about the hours, but do nothing to contribute because
100%.
We're not somebody that's going to call us the next day to get catering. We have to be consistent in our messaging because it could be months later, years later when somebody's making that call.
Absolutely.
Sure.
But those partnerships are huge. Molly touched on this for a second, but if you are doing weddings and you're doing those corporate events, spoil the person that's ordering, leave behind extra cookies, do those extra steps where, especially if they can make recommendations. If you have customers that you love and you can email them or call them and say, who are 5 people that you would recommend us to? Those 5 people are the first ones that should get a free sandwich to come into your restaurant and try it or whatever it might be, in order to capitalize on it. But those partnerships with the weddings is huge. If you can get recommendations, a bride typically orders her location first. So locations probably would be number one. And then they hire who they're going to cater, and then they start to hire all the different incidentals. But those are all relationships those partnerships could be huge for you.
So we do a big campaign around venues, like getting on the preferred catering list.
Great.
And then we just did a Dine to Discover event Tuesday this week. We had 35 people there.
Great.
2 were venues, the rest were all couples. And we do those quarterly where we invite them into our space. Now we have a restaurant, so we're doing that. And we actually set up a buffet. We catered for them. We did a 45-minute presentation about our company, what makes us different. And then we had a wedding coordinator sit down with every couple before they left to try to earn that business. So we
Did
are
you close
doing
any of
things.
those?
We did.
Okay,
Half we're already booked or
Perfect.
booked that night.
Yep.
And then the others, I would say there's only one that we lost, and it was because of pricing. There was just nothing we could do about that.
Yeah. I'm
but
just
the
curious if
rest,
you're getting the return on
Oh,
that,
yeah.
because that sounds like a lot of work on you all. to do that.
90%. We have a 90% close rate when
That's
they
great.
get to one of those
Amazing.
events.
That's
That's
amazing.
perfect.
That is so
That's a
impressive, and
worthwhile
that says a
endeavor
lot
there.
about your food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
I'm
know.
listening-
Go ahead.
Go
Molly.
ahead.
I was gonna say I'm listening to you guys, and like all these things, and I'm just being honest again.
Yeah.
I'm doing all of these things myself,
Right.
but I'm also doing a million other things.
Yep.
I need someone to manage it because
To
I
delegate.
can't.
Well, what's your? You
And
have a
I-
GM and an ops manager too, right?
And I have a catering and event manager. Yes.
So we can start this. Some of this stuff can get delegated. Like once it's really just about getting the picture set and having the overarching strategy, and then looking at your year. And it's like, what is every opportunity throughout the course of the year to really interrupt with barbecue? And again, make sure that we're consistent with our touch points across our customer journey from, again, restaurant, catering to the trucks. I was even thinking, sorry, I had to share this little idea, like a little treat basket for the couple for the night after, like when they get married, to like take with them. Such a fun, cute little idea. Because I wasn't nervous, but I was too excited about everything to eat at my wedding. And we got back to the hotel room and I'm like, I need food. I'm starving. But I do think I wanted to touch on before we wrap let's talk about the Super Bowl ad, because we can talk about the Super Bowl ad. I'm so excited for you all. You were selected by Google. They are doing, they did this amazing campaign where they selected, I think you said 20 small businesses within every state and then narrowed it down to one. Right. And they chose you all to do a commercial. And so
That's
they
so
came to the
exciting.
restaurant, and it is airing Super Bowl Sunday. So listeners, please make sure you tune in, share with your friends and family. It's not like most of us won't be watching the Super Bowl anyways, but in case you're not, there's now a reason to watch it. So you can see Kristen and Anton, and then maybe a little blip of my kids there in the background too.
that's so cool.
I am curious, Kristen, I know that you are able to now promote it. I was wondering, and I knew you guys had to be hush hush for a while. What rights do you have to that content and footage thereafter? How can you continue to use it? Like, that was one question I really had for you. I wanted to make sure we got in today, is like, how do we maximize this? That's huge. You're going to have millions and millions of viewers within the state of Ohio watching you at a very critical time. How do you guys have plans to figure out how you follow up
Nope.
and use that? Okay.
Well,
And I know
email's
Molly
great,
had
a massive
something too.
database.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we do have rights to it. They're going to share the content with us after it
Great.
airs.
love
They actually sent us the
that.
marketing toolkit yesterday.
Oh,
And then I have a call. There's a marketing company out of Columbus that did a lot of the PR work locally.
Yes.
So, like, I know City Beat did the
Mhm.
article
The press
yesterday. I
release.
didn't even know about it. I didn't know a press release went out until I saw the City Beat article. So I asked them for a call because I'm like, what did you send? Can I have a copy? Should I
Yeah.
contact media? I do know that Fox 19 is going to do stuff because they're going to be the ones showing the Super Bowl.
wonderful.
But yeah, I don't have. I should have a plan, but I don't. It
That's
all
okay. We
happened
got a
so
little time.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
We got a little time though.
It's the 50 Stories, 50 States campaign. It is around Google Workspace with Gemini. So basically promoting the Gemini AI, which we are using. We have been a Google Workspace client since 2014. And so they have also asked, and I didn't share this with you, I don't think, Amy, is that
Okay.
of the people they selected, we're one of 10 to 12 businesses they've also selected to do future work. So they have asked us, following the airing
Love
on
it.
Super Bowl Sunday, to do some interviews. So if somebody from New York Times calls to ask about this experience, or
Wonderful.
anybody, we're allowed to do that, and they're going to be pitching us up to share our story.
Yep.
And then I also shared with our partner GoDaddy
Mm-hmm.
about this, so they're also very excited, and I've asked them to come back now that we have the restaurant and do some work with us, and they're going to be coming back to Cincinnati and doing some stuff with us too. So we've got two
Great.
huge companies, global companies, that were on their radar, and all of this is complimentary. So
It is
we're
good
very
timing.
grateful
Now's the time
that they've selected us.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
on that note, the Super Bowl is in 8 days.
Yes.
But hear me
counting.
out.
Yeah.
You've got a really nice website, and on your website you have a header image, a nice big beautiful rounded corner block. I appreciate that, and your font selection. I'm a web designer as well. You've got a really big banner image there. You could change out the picture of those two trucks and put your Super Bowl ad, and you could put a button there that says, "Did you see us on the Super Bowl ad?" and collect their email address and put a form that says, "What are you interested in? You know, when do you eat barbecue? And do you ever have would you be interested in content about our catering, our trucks, or our restaurant?" And let them submit and maximize that time and humble brag the hell out of that thing.
Yeah,
put it
you're gonna
on
get a
the,
lot of hits from it.
you know what I mean? Like the picture of the food trucks is cool, but also having said that, are you a food truck business? Are you a restaurant? Because it might be time to change out that picture anyway, because when you go to your website, it looks like you're just food trucks, right? So there's an opportunity there. So that's an easy way for you to maximize on that by just switching out the video with the static image with the video and putting a button to your email list on there, and then coming up with a game plan to really communicate with them immediately. Like as soon as they sign up, they should get a welcome email. Things that could be automated and set up pretty quickly, like Amy said. But I think maximizing that leverage ASAP is probably the most important thing that you could focus on the next few days. And then hiring somebody, hopefully we've got some great community members who are, I mean, if I was still doing marketing like that, I would be like, jumping at the opportunity, because I have a lot of ideas that can be implemented very, simply.
And you have it.
And
Yeah,
easily. And you have it all in place. So, I think if you can get a senior person to help direct a junior person, but in the meantime, maybe, like I said, one of my favorite quotes is, "You can't read the label from inside the jar." But the best way to kind of look at your website is pretend you don't know anything about it, or ask somebody who doesn't know anything about it to tell you what you do. And if you open up the thing and it looks like all you do is food trucks, then it's time to evaluate the pictures that you're using and show the catering and show the restaurant, or make that top image a slider that shows the food trucks and the restaurant, because it literally just says food trucks.
Yep.
Food trucks is the very first thing that it says
Is that
on your
the
website.
tab you went to?
I was going to say, I'm on
possibly.
Sweets and Meats Barbecue. Yeah, I'm on
Sweets and
sweetsandmeatsbarbecue.com. They've got pictures of the food, so.
I'm on the homepage now.
Yeah.
But I would still switch that out, because really Sweets and Meats should not be your header. That is not your number one, like H1 header. It should say, would you like barbecue delivered all year? Do you want to be the head of your next barbecue? It shouldn't just say your company name. Your company name is up top. That first message needs to appeal to the people coming to your page. So, switch that out with the video for the Super Bowl as soon as you can use it. And put, "Hey, did you see us on the Super Bowl ad? How cool is that? By the way, the Super Bowl can be at your house next week." You know what I mean? Like really lean in on that.
That same message is your email and your email blast. It's all your social media posts for the next 2 weeks. It is your follow-up to everything.
Month.
It should mention it in every single thing you're doing.
Giving you the right
Sure.
makes me so happy, because it's sometimes these types of campaigns really don't have like the people that they're trying to help with the campaign itself in mind. And to me, it really sounds like Google has empowered you to take this and leverage it and make the most of it. Also, another crazy idea, I was looking at your page and I noticed a sway on the table. We've got all these microbreweries, like there's partnership opportunities there. Now this is Bridget's sweet spot in-house, but I will also say, this is going to resonate really only with the people that are local to Cincinnati, but graders. They just did a Skyline.
I know.
A Skyline ice cream. I'm like, gross, but everybody is obsessed. They have sold it out. You can't find it anywhere. If we're talking about Sweets and Meats Barbecue being for the barbecue obsessed, then hey, is there an opportunity to talk to graders and figure out something there? Like, do we need some brisket ice cream around here? I mean, if chili ice cream can be a thing, then maybe people will try anything. Apparently,
anything is mac and cheese ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh hell yeah.
The fat girl in me is like, sign me up. I'll do it, Kristen. I'll do it.
I actually think that's already been done, the mac and cheese, believe it or not.
Probably.
Ice cream.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised.
But those collaborations are so popular right now.
They really
totally
are.
agree,
And
Kristen.
they get a lot of social currency. People will pick up on them and they kind of go and take off like wildfire. So there's, I don't know. Again, that's Bridget's wheelhouse. But as far as finding those partnerships, that could be a good kind of fun way to to kind of get
capitalize on
more
the
attention.
catering with the companies, for sure. You've got so many big businesses and small businesses right in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah, and
I
I didn't
agree.
mention one of the areas, I know I'm looking at time too, that the things that we do that we don't really capitalize on is we are part of a FoodWorks program, which is owned by Compass Group. So we go into companies like Fidelity and P&G and UC Business Center or UC Medical Center, on a consistent base, TQL, like every month,
Yeah.
and we serve lunch inside their cafeteria.
That's
But
fantastic.
they don't provide a lot of signage, and in some cases they won't let us bring things. But I've been really pushing back on that.
Good.
We could bring more signage and kind of advertise while we're there.
Yep.
But I would love to do that for so many other companies, and I've tried to put stuff out on social, but that could be a whole campaign. Like, who
Yeah.
wouldn't like to
LinkedIn.
have lunch served at their
You
business?
should be on LinkedIn for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
That's where the professionals are, and you can create targeted messages and ads, or hell, you could even just cyber stalk people and then find them and then message them and be like, be the barbecue hero of the day. Like, who wouldn't want to have barbecue brought to their office? You could talk to the office managers, receptionists, but then also other leaders, coordinators, event planners, all that kind of stuff right through, and go directly to them. On LinkedIn, because they're going to have their job titles listed and their companies as well. So you could target all of that. And
Yeah, you could
LinkedIn,
do-
same thing, pretty low cost.
Yeah, you could do outreach on LinkedIn where you target in like their job position, their location. It's almost intrusive what you can designate. It's totally different than Facebook. And you could just have your content being shown to receptionists and HR, like whoever it is that's, you know what I'm saying, that's doing the thing. You know,
That's another thing that you can set and forget, and it costs you very little. You could get a
Exactly.
tool like Dripify. It's, $30 a month, and it automatically contacts the people that you want it to contact, and it sends them a message that simply says, like, best catering, order a barbecue, and it just sends that LinkedIn connection message. You
Yeah.
don't even need to do anything.
And it would be really disruptive, even if you had like a paid video ad or an image ad, and it's like, need to bring them back to the office. I mean, that's something everybody's struggling with, right? Nobody wants to come back to the office and work. If you're in like white collar jobs, like everybody wants to work from home. But if there's barbecue coming in, everybody's coming in. And I don't see many food ads coming at me on LinkedIn. So again,
No.
like look for
Return to
spaces
barbecue.
and ways, right? Where you can like really disrupt and interrupt. And again, just push that obsession with barbecue. Because again, that's going to reinforce that notion that it's not a one time a year thing. It's all year round.
So I think we can wrap this up. It's been absolutely a pleasure to hang out with you, Kristen. I think you should really like be super proud of the work that you've
You
done.
all
I know you
should.
feel very overwhelmed, but like you're killing it with your numbers. It's amazing revenue. It's definitely time for you to delegate. So to all the digital, Together in Digital community members who are listening to this podcast, I'm sure your mind is racing and you have lots of ideas. But as we know, ideas are just ideas. You got to implement them to get any action out of them. And that's what Kristen needs right now. So if you are willing to work on commission or work for the bigger picture, for a long-term opportunity, Kristen could really use your help. And so I'm sure, women in marketing tend to have big hearts, which usually works against us, unfortunately, right? Because we get screwed over by a lot of people. But I can tell that you're like a person that takes care of people and cares about people. So if I was still doing marketing, I would jump at this opportunity. There's a lot of little fixes. It's like the tipping point. There's a lot of little, you've already got all the ingredients. You got this beautiful kitchen and every ingredient you could possibly need, and now it's just time to get the cooking done. So hopefully if you're listening to this Together Digital community members, fire up those proposals, hit up Kristen, go to her website, give her a real proposal, and the real thing is here, you got to take this work off her plate and build in accountability for you and the assistant to really make this work, and we got to take some of this off of Kristen's plate because she's got enough going on, but with this health issues, we really have to take these things off of her plate immediately. And there's a lot. Who doesn't want to be part of the team that's on the Super Bowl ad next week?
Yeah.
If I was you, I would get in there as quick as possible, get a contract with Kristen, and be able to tell your friends and family that the company you just signed with is on the Super Bowl this weekend, right? That's a good look for everybody involved. So having said that, everybody please reach out to Kristen. Her links are in the show notes. The website's in the show notes. And this is what we created this podcast, to create opportunities to solve problems for businesses like Kristen through our amazing community of women that Amy has built through Together Digital. And it's a direct win for everybody involved. So let's get those proposals popping and let's solve some problems, man.
Woohoo! Excited.
I'm excited.
Can't
Yeah.
wait to see everything that's to come, Kristen. I feel like it's all good things. I know it's overwhelming right now, but we've got this. We've got you. We've got each
So-
other. We're going to be okay. We're going to be
You're doing
okay.
great. Yeah. And thank you
you
so
are.
much for your time and for joining us today. It was lovely meeting you and learning more about your business.
Thank you. Same. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time you invested. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was really nice getting to meet you and hang out with you. And I'm excited to see
I'll come serve barbecue in Costa Rica. anytime you
Yeah.
want.
Oh.
Oh, we
We can trade. I'm just saying, you let us stay with you, and I can cook every day.
When are you coming? When are you coming? I got a
She's got the
spare
room
room
ready.
with a nice view. I got it. We're
I
ready
see
to
that.
go. Yeah. So exactly. So on that note, thank you everybody who's tuned in today. I want to remind you that Together in Digital is the best women's business community, and I don't even own the community or work for it, so you can believe me. It is the best women's business community out there. It is tremendously underpriced for the value that you're getting, and that's going to change, my people. So if you don't have
Get on it.
membership, you should get one now. And if you do and you see the value, then buy one for your aspiring niece, daughter, cousin, whatever it is who's interested in business, right? We are at a pivotal place in the world right now, and we need our women to be educated, savvy, smart, and making some more money. And the best way to do that is to put them in communities of people that can support them wholeheartedly and with an amazing intention, and that is Together Digital. So having said that, join the community, get opportunities to pitch, empower the women in your life with this amazing community, and we can't wait to circle back with you, Kristen, in a couple months and see how all these changes have implemented, how your health has improved, and that you're not staying up all night doing scheduling. I know about that. And we're going to see you smiling even bigger than you are now, because we're going to have solved all kinds of problems. So thank you for taking time, everybody, for tuning in. And Amy, Bridget, is there anything else you'd like to say
Nope.
before we?
You did
Pop
great.
on.
So excited for
Beautifully.
your
Thank you,
Super Bowl
Molly.
ad. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, and have a
All
great
right.
day. And please, if you found this content valuable, send them to Together Digital, and check us out on LinkedIn. We'll connect with you and help solve your problems. If you are a business
Yeah.
with marketing issues, you can apply to be on the podcast, and we will solve all your problems and put all these amazing women in front of you to make your life better. So on that note, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.